My name is Judy Leventhal, and I'm a contemporary mask maker, and I'm here to talk about Edith Wyle, who was a tremendous inspiration for me in the work that I do in the community and my work as a mask maker. Edith was the founder of the Egg in the Eye restaurant in Los Angeles, the Craft and Folk Art Museum, the Parade of Masks, and the International Festival of Masks in Los Angeles. All of these programs became models nationally for bringing the folk arts and crafts into the mainstream of American culture. She studied with a man named Rico Lebrun, who was a sculptor and a painter, and he loved folk art. And she said, I know I've been thinking about folk art, and I know I've been thinking about crafts, and nobody is displaying craft and folk art the way it should be displayed. By then she was married, and she married well, and she had 3 children. She'd been a very quiet artist. She was talking with some of her women colleagues and had the idea for the Egg in the Eye restaurant. She called up 30 people and raised $75,000 on the spot. And this was in the early 1960s. They invested in her aesthetic eye, because she had a fabulous eye and a way of arranging things. Upstairs in the Egg in the Eye, there were 50 different omelets, and while people were waiting for the omelets, they were to go downstairs and look at the craft and folk art. So she drew people from all over the art world, and she got a great write-up in the LA Times, and the Craft and Folk Art Museum came out of that. Her first exhibit was Eskimo art. It was a hit. What is of note is that both the Egg in the Eye and the Craft and Folk Art Museum were started shortly after the Watts civil unrest. Her passion to bring arts to youth and families in underserved neighborhoods propelled her to organize these workshops. What better way than to have children and families make masks to celebrate their own heritage? Somehow she mobilized the resources to bring those workshops into every neighborhood in Los Angeles. She notices that there were over 65 groups of cultures in Los Angeles, and that was the largest diversity in the entire world. And it was through that that the parade started. And she said, why don't we do this? She said, this is a way for us to come together and find ways to appreciate one another. When I joined the festival, it was magical for me. It just inspired such joy and such curiosity through color, through movement, through music. And we connected with one another on a much deeper way than we would have ever envisioned or experienced without the masks. That is the paradox. Masks in history are meant to call upon spiritual forces for healing and transformation. And they do. You're smiling, you're radiant, and I thank you for your inspiration and your dedication. I was searching for role models, female role models, who I could resonate with. And I found a soulmate in her.